What's going on, everybody? It is your boy Chris, man. We are here at the Work Hard, Play Harder podcast. It is Tuesday, June 25th. My name is Chris Drummond. I'm a freelance sports reporter based out of Minnesota here. I'm also a casino host and proprietor of this podcast where I bring individuals on to talk about their why and why they do what they do and who they are as a person. I got a special guest that's coming on with me today. Her name is Vanessa Echols. She has been a news anchor for over 25 plus years. All right, covering different news, anchoring different news at the noon and 4 p.m. cast. She's now a retired news anchor. She's also an author, and she's also a board member in the medical center down there in Alabama. She also graduated from the University of Alabama. So it's Roll Tide, no doubt about it. Looking forward to talking to her about her why into the industry and what she's doing now. Also ask some fun questions as well. So without any further ado, I introduce to you the wonderful Vanessa Echols. Good evening. How we doing, Vanessa?
Great. How are you?
I'm doing wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. Just want to say thank you for hopping on my podcast, Work Hard, Play Harder. How's your day been going so far?
It's been stress-free, so that's a good thing.
It's always good when it's stress-free now. I
Yep.
love in the days, no question.
How about your day?
My day's been pretty good. It's an off day today. So just cleaning up around the house, doing some laundry as well. So, doing those house things that I need to do to get done for sure.
Chores. Good old
Absolutely.
chores.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Right. So let me reiterate why I wanted to bring you on here before I start asking you all these questions. I know you got a lot of years as being a news anchor. Now you're a retired news anchor, which is awesome. It's great. I'm a reporter myself in the industry. I love talking to different people about their why they do what they do, and who they are as a person. I know you're also an author, which I would love to get into that. I know you're a board member as well for a medical center, I believe, in
hmm
Alabama.
hmm
I know you also had a podcast yourself as
I
well.
did. Won a
Absolutely.
couple of
So,
awards, just so you
absolutely.
know.
I was going to get to that, but no question, you already did. So, like I'm saying, um, I want to be able to talk to you, get to know you a little bit, and be able just to hear your story about how you came to things, because it's always refreshing to talk to somebody else that's been in the industry, that's went through some of the things that I personally I'm going through right now. So,
hmm
with that being said, my first question, Vanessa, is always the same. What is your why? Right? Why do you do what you do, or why did you do what you did in this case? And what led you to a career of journalism? Was it role models? Was there any inspirations that you had growing up?
I think it was everything you just said in terms of what led me there. I was just a very curious child from the time I guess I was in kindergarten. And I grew up loving to read the newspaper. My parents always told the story that I would wait at the door. Back in the day when you would actually have someone deliver the newspaper, I would
Mhm.
wait at the door. And if she was like 1 minute late, I would start squawking, like, where is she? Why isn't she here? Where's the newspaper? So I don't know. I guess I was just a strange kid, but I loved reading the newspaper and I loved watching the news as well. And I was fascinated by the first time that I saw someone on local television who looked like me.
Okay.
And her name is Brenda Blackman, and she went on to have a very successful career in New York.
Mhm.
And so I just remember seeing her, and they always say representation matters. And if you
Yes.
can see it, you can believe you can do it. And when I saw her, that's exactly how I felt. I was like, I can do that. And then when I got to junior high school and took a current events class, that sealed the deal for me because that was the one class where I could answer every single question and can remember once I got one wrong. And the teacher told my mom at PTA that I was crushed because I got one answer wrong. So I just always had this love for news and always a love for just being curious.
No, absolutely. I totally understand when you said representation. For me, seeing a person like Stuart Scott on my TV screen, was great, was awesome. Even though he anchored Sports Center, and I wanted to do kind of something different where I was covering games, it was just great to see another face that looked like mine on TV because most of the time you
Absolutely.
didn't see faces.
Absolutely.
So I was definitely understand that. You went to the University of Alabama, so roll
I
tide.
did. Roll Tide.
Absolutely. Now, mind you, Vanessa, I grew up a little bit in Georgia. So, of course, you know how Georgia is. Our Georgia Bulldog out.
Yeah. Yeah. Do we even want to continue this conversation?
Vanessa, we're going to have to because I got some more questions lined up now. But
No,
we
but
got a great.
you understand football in the South, how it is very important to everyone in the South. I mean, what's so interesting is that people who didn't go to the school, still they're invested in it. So when you go to the school, you are super duper invested.
Absolutely. And that was my question. Were there any other schools that could have persuaded you from going to the University of Alabama?
Well, here is the weird thing. I grew up in Auburn and lived there my entire life until I went away to college. And I was looking for a school with a good journalism program. It's what I told my parents, but also was like, I think I would like to live away from home. And so Alabama had a great journalism program. And I thought, okay, it was just a couple of hours away. We can do this. And once I got there, I knew that was where I belonged.
Okay, I like that. Now, did you go to any other games, the football games, the basketball games, any other sports?
Absolutely. And I always tell people it was funny that way back in the day when I was there, uh, it was not really a basketball school. And so at some points they would kind of let us in the games for free because like nobody would show up for the students. So, but yeah, things have changed dramatically in the last few years. But yes, I went to every sport that I could go to. And then I worked at the campus television station there as well. So then I went to games with that. And so, yeah, it was a big, important part of my life and still is.
Absolutely. I mean, anybody that knows Alabama, that Iron Bowl game is one of the most important games in that state. There's just no question about it.
The most important.
Oh, yep. There you go. The most important, right? Right. I think
Absolutely.
one of my favorite memories of that particular game, before I get to the next question, or that matchup, I should say, was the unfortunate kick six. If you remember that game, the kick six.
I have forgotten that. I have no idea what you're talking about.
So
I have erased that from my memory.
that was pretty bad. That was pretty bad.
Yeah.
It was. But that was one of my favorite memories, Vanessa. It was. I'm not gonna lie. But I'm not a hater of Alabama. I really not. I really do love Saban. Nick Saban is the GOAT of Alabama football coaching and college football coaching. Also like basketball too, because Robert Horry is one of my favorite players, and he went to the University of Alabama, so he's one of my favorites. Absolutely. So yeah, okay, I like that. Let's ask some favorite questions, right? So I got some favorite questions lined up. Vanessa, you tell me the 411 on based upon these questions. Are you with me?
I'm with you. Let's go.
All right, here we go. Favorite meal you like to cook?
Wow. See, that's a tough one. I really like a baked chicken dish with some Campbell's mushroom soup.
Wow.
That my roommate in college absolutely loved. And so the first time she prepared it, I was like, okay, this is going to be my go-to dish. So that's the one.
Okay, that sounds delicious, by the way. That sounds really good. All right,
it's quite tasty.
Favorite concert you've ever attended?
Back in the 80s, Prince.
Wow, you actually got to see Prince live.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
It was an event.
Oh man, I mean, I love Prince, love Michael in my top 5. You could probably throw the Beatles in there and Phil Collins in there for me too. But Prince and Michael Jackson, no question about it, definitely that. Okay, I like that. Favorite place you have ever traveled to?
Bermuda.
Now, okay, was that a family trip, a girls' trip? What kind of trip was that?
That was a girls' trip, and it was so much fun. And you talk about being somewhere that you realize I am out in the middle of the ocean. That's exactly what it is. But beautiful. The beaches are beautiful. The water spectacular. and just how clean the island is and how welcoming the people were, just made that a perfect trip.
Absolutely. Okay. I like that. I'm putting that on a bucket list, Vanessa. No question about that.
Yes, add that to your list.
Okay. All right. Here we go. Favorite sport you like to watch on TV. Favorite sport you like to attend in person.
College football, especially if it's an Alabama game. I mean, what kind of question is that? Has to be obvious.
I was thinking that maybe.
Asking,
go ahead.
Do you like to breathe? Your favorite time of the day to breathe? Yes. College football by far. Yes.
Well, mind you, if I'm in Alabama during football season, because I still have family in Georgia, I typically come to Georgia at least twice a year. But if I'm ever in Alabama, Vanessa, we got to link up. That's for sure.
Absolutely. Yes.
I'm with that. Okay. Last of the favorites. Favorite restaurant to eat at?
Ooh, that's a tough one. I think I would have to pick the restaurant that I miss the most since I moved. I would say Seasons 52.
Oh, Seasons 52.
That would be right up there.
Okay.
And their cedar plank salmon is my favorite.
Okay, I like that. That's what's up. Let's talk about what you do day to day. When Vanessa wakes up out of bed, what exactly does Vanessa do as far as her occupation day to day? What do you what kind of advice do you give others that want to actually pursue journalism? I know it's not something you do now, but what is some advice that you would give somebody that pursues journalism?
I think, journalism is not one of those 9 to 5 jobs. It really is 24/7. Now, I'm not saying that you're at the office 24/7, but you can be called in at any point. And when you're not working, if you are a good journalist, you are still thinking about journalism. You are, developing sources and thinking about stories. And when you see things, I think your mind needs to be, that might be an interesting story. So even when you're not working, always ask questions. And as I mentioned before, just be curious, love to write, and love to watch the news and read the newspapers and read magazines and just be well-rounded about what is going on, not just in your community, but in your state, in the country, and in the world.
Absolutely. And now what do you personally do? Like, say if somebody, or I should say, let me table that. What do you personally do as far as your day to day, being a board member for a medical center?
Well, the beauty of retirement is that I really can plan my day to be what I want it to be. So a lot of times that's how it turns out. And people always say, like, are you bored in retirement? No, this is for me the second act. But I am able to kind of cater the schedule to what I like to do. I'm on the board of the East Alabama Medical Center here in East Alabama. So we have quarterly board meetings. I'm involved with a group called Reunited with United Way. And it's kind of cool because it's retired people who still want to stay involved in the community. So we visit some of the United Way sites that United Way sponsors. We learn about the Red Cross and all sorts of organizations that are here in the community. Also involved in the Community Foundation of East Alabama, where we help all the nonprofits in the area. And if people want to volunteer, we connect them with volunteers. We help them fundraise. So that's just an opportunity to be involved in a whole lot of different organizations. And then I'm also on the board of a group called Historical Vision Productions, which is a film crew that covers and produces documentaries about untold stories of Black history in the state of Alabama. I mentor some of the students who work with us. We have some interns, so I mentor them. And the last project they produced last year was a documentary about John Andrew Hospital, which was in Tuskegee, and was one of the first hospitals in the South, Black hospitals in the South, and just a really rich history. So they produced a really outstanding documentary about the efforts there and what it did and why it closed, and all kind of issues associated with that. So I am very, very busy, but again, I can do things on my own time schedule.
Absolutely. Definitely, I'm gonna have to look at that documentary because I definitely want to be able to look at that.
Yes.
How would someone be able to look at that? What is there a website to go to, or do you check it out, or?
Sure, if you just do a Google search for historical vision productions, and it's
Mhm.
spelled historical is like HIZ or historical, then you'll find a link to the documentary. And there is a YouTube channel, and you can find it there.
Okay, that's awesome. I'm with that. This is the bonus question that I got for you because I'm going to my first NABJ conference, career conference, this upcoming July.
Excellent.
I'm not sure if you've been there or not, but what are some kind of tips that you can give me as far as being my first time going there?
I have been in many of those conferences, and it's such a great opportunity to learn a lot and connect with people. And so, my advice to first timers is your goal is to get to know everybody who's there, which is impossible because there are thousands of people. But by that,
Hmm.
I mean, just don't be afraid to introduce yourself, connect with people. Everyone's there for the same reason. It's all about connections. Attend as many workshops as you can. And when there are opportunities for you to ask questions or speak up, don't be afraid. My first one, I was just, scared out of my wits. And I left there going like, I should have asked more questions. And so the next time, everybody I saw, I was asking questions. Every
Hmm.
workshop, raising my hand. So yeah, be fearless, but connect with people.
I love that. Thank you. I appreciate that. When you're doing news stories, particularly, I'm a sports guy, so I do sports stories. I've covered 12 high schools and a college, right? Excuse me. So when you're covering high schools and colleges out here, you do features, previews, editorials, game recaps. There's a winner, there's a loser. But when you're covering news stories, sometimes there's soft stories, sometimes there's hard stories. How hard was it for you to separate yourself from the hard stories and not take that home with you? Because sometimes those hard stories can be very tough to separate from. And what advice would you give somebody that wants to be a news anchor or news reporter that does hard stories?
I think that is probably of all the aspects of the job, that's the toughest. Especially for me, I always say that toughest stories are when people were just going about their business, just doing ordinary things, and then something just tragic happened to them. It could be somebody who's on the way to a birthday party and the car is hit by a drunk driver. They're not
Right,
doing anything wrong. They're just doing what we would normally do, getting in our car, driving somewhere. And for me, I always thought about, that person walked out the door that morning and had plans and thought about everything they're going to do today. I'm going to go to work, and then I'm going to make sure I leave on time because I'm going to the birthday party and I have all these plans for the weekend. And then something tragic happens.
right.
It's really hard to separate. If you have any amount of compassion, it is very hard to not take those stories home, to think about those people and, wonder what happens to their families and all of that. But I think that is what makes you a better news person, a better journalist, a better news anchor,
Right.
is when you're able to show some compassion when you tell the stories and not act like you're doing a story about, another store opening in the mall, because it's not that. And I think people can connect with the fact that it's terrible and it's terrible, but you're telling them because it's important for them to know it.
Love that answer. I do, and it's a great segue to this follow up question that I have. It's about mental health and work life balance, right?
Mhm.
Obviously, for me, when you do sports, it's nights and weekends. Sometimes the social life is not very appealing. Though nobody want to hang out at midnight on Tuesday. It
Mhm.
is what it is on that. So I had to adjust to that, which is fine because I love doing what I do. I love covering these kids. But let me ask you, when you were in the industry, uh, mental health and work life balance, how did you handle making sure that your mental health was good? And how did you handle having a work life balance? I think it's something that needs to be known from somebody who's a seasoned reporter like yourself.
I always tell people don't come into this business thinking that, like I said before, that it's 9 to 5. It's not. Sometimes you have to work holidays, and it's tough when your family, everybody's gathering for Thanksgiving or Christmas or somebody, grandma's 100th birthday or a
Hmm.
wedding, all of those things, and you can't be there. That's tough. And I think you have to come into this knowing that. For many years, I worked that early morning schedule. So when people would say to me on, because everyone thinks that weekend starts on Thursday night, at least my friends did. So on Thursday night, we're like, hey, you want to go out? I'm like, sure. I have to be home at 7:30 because I have to go to bed at 8. Well, it's like you mentioned, nobody wants to do that. They're like,
Mhm.
come on,
No,
can't you stay past 10? I'm like, no. And, so you have to make the people in your life understand and respect your schedule.
right,
And it's very hard. But if you really are committed to this, you also have to be disciplined. So as much as sometimes I wanted to go out with them and stay out until midnight, I just knew I couldn't do it. So I didn't. And before I left work, I had a normal schedule, normal per se. So that was different. But I think you just have to get to that headspace where it's like, this is my life, and it's
yeah,
probably not going to be this way forever. But right
yep,
now, I can't, you know, go out on a Thursday night and stay out until midnight. Or, yeah, I want to hang out at midnight, but no one else does. If that's your schedule, if you have one of those
mhm,
schedules where you get off at like 10:30 at night or 11:30 at night,
yep,
I think you
yep,
just have to realize that. And you have to make space for yourself when it comes to work life balance and mental health. And I think what helped me is that I always made sure I had a life outside of the television station, that I had friends outside of the television station, so that I was not all consumed. I was consumed with it, but not all consumed with news,
sure,
that I could get away and always said, talk to normal, regular people, because sometimes the people in news, I'm like, we're all crazy. This is a different kind of breed of people. But I needed to just be around people who had different occupations. So for
sure,
me,
yeah.
having a separate life, that is what helped me mentally, I think.
Oh, no question. You hit it right on the head, especially with that last part. Vanessa, sometimes I like to leave the station and not talk about sports. It's cool. I love sports. I do, but I do it all damn day. I don't want to just come, I want to come home and have, just normal conversations. Like even on
Right.
lunch breaks, just let's talk about something different, right? And
Mm-hmm.
you hit it on the head with that. And I love that answer. I really do. I want to ask this next question, and it's always a question I like to ask individuals, especially individuals that's in retirement. What is three things that you have on your bucket list that you want to do? Like, it doesn't matter what it is, but what is three things on your bucket list that's pretty high that you want to do right now?
Mm. I think if money were no object and I had the availability, I would like to visit all the great capitals of the world and
Hmm,
stay at the nicest hotels there.
wow. Okay. No,
That
no. Okay. So,
that's
so
a
give me
big bucket list kind of thing.
that. That is okay. So, right off the bat, give me like three capitals that you would love to visit right now. Uh, I'm trying to think. Now you got me thinking about my history. Now, trying to think of some capitals. Uh,
I think I would want to go to Johannesburg in South Africa.
oh, that's nice. Okay.
And I think I would want to go. Oh, that's so tough. Ah, because there are so many. I've never been to Paris, so I think I'd like to see Paris.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then for the third one, wow, that's kind of tough. I guess for the third one, I'd really want to go like, I don't know. That's a tough one. Uh,
Mm,
yeah, I'd have to think about the third one. I mean, I've always wanted to visit Monaco, so I think I would do
there we
that
go.
as kind of
Okay.
a, yeah.
Okay.
So two
So you
places
so
in
you a
France
world
there.
traveler. You want to travel the world a little bit.
Absolutely.
Okay, I'm with you on that. I'm with you on that. Okay.
Now that's
So,
not exactly a practical bucket list, but that's just like a dream bucket list.
well, of course. Like, but if we don't dream big, why dream at all?
Exactly. I love that.
You know what I mean? So absolutely. Now we've come to the portion of the episode where it's this or that. So
Mhm.
basically, what I'm going to do is I'm going to throw two things at you, and you get to choose one or the other. Are you with me?
Yes, I am. This is
All right,
this is
here
going
we
to be
go.
interesting. Okay.
This is going to be very interesting because this first question will determine quite a bit. Okay, so here we go. Popeyes or KFC?
Oh, ooh, Popeyes.
I was about
Yeah.
to say, Vanessa, I was about to delete this. I was about to, we got to hang up on this one now. Come on, you in the South. Come
I
on, you got
know.
to say
Yeah.
Popeye.
Yeah, Popeyes.
All right, here we go. Next one. All right. Football or basketball?
Football.
Okay. Baseball or softball?
Ooh. I guess baseball.
Okay. Okay. That's
That's a tough one.
that was a tough one. It looked like it. Okay. Do you eat chicken wings?
Yeah,
Okay, here we go.
of course.
Barbecue or lemon pepper? Barbecue or lemon pepper?
Uh, Barbecue. Hello. Again, girls
Oh,
raised in the South.
I
Grits.
feel that. I feel that. Okay. Wet or dry?
Ooh. See, that kind of depends on who's making them, but I think yeah, I guess wet.
Yeah, I'm gonna roll with wet too, no doubt. Bone in or boneless?
Bone in. Hello. I don't
So
get them.
you
Yeah.
so you a messy eater is what you saying.
Yes. That's
Okay,
how it should
okay,
be done. There's an art
okay,
to it.
okay. Now I know we could be cool. Now I'm good. I know we could be good. Okay, here we go. Which sport would you rather play? Badminton or bowling?
Bowling. I have a trophy in bowling.
Oh, you can bowl.
Back in the day, I could. When I was in the seventh grade, we won a whole tournament. So I still have the trophy. I talk about it a
Okay.
lot too. When everyone mentions bowling, I'm like, did you know I won a trophy? And they're like, yeah, you tell us that every time somebody mentions bowling. Because that was the
Okay.
only sport I was really good at.
Okay. All right. Well, I bowl too now. I'm just throwing it out there. I bowl too.
Okay.
Just saying. All right, here we go. Dominoes or spades?
Dominoes.
You know how to play some bones?
I'm pretty good.
Okay.
I mean, I don't want to brag, but yeah, I'm pretty good.
Hey, well, there's only one way to find out, Vanessa. I'm
I
just
know. I know.
all right. I'm throwing it out there. But this or
Hmm.
that, you say dominoes. I'm with you.
Hmm.
Okay. These next four have to do with music concerts you rather attend. Okay.
Ooh. Okay.
So here we go. Which concert would you rather attend, Beyonce or Rihanna?
Oh, now you're really getting into the weeds. I would say Rihanna.
Okay. Here we go. Would you rather attend Whitney or Janet Jackson? Whitney Houston or Janet Jackson?
Whitney.
Greatest singer of all time, right?
Yeah, I mean, just there's nobody with that voice.
I feel it. I feel you on that. Okay. This is the hypothetical one. But obviously we can't tell them now. But which concert would you have rather attended? Would you rather see the Temptations or the Spinners?
Oh, I always love the Spinners.
So did I. So do I.
Yeah, Spinners.
Mm-hmm. I knew that would be a little tough between
Yeah,
those two.
that was tough.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Last one here. Which concert would you rather go to? Chris Brown or Usher?
Usher. I didn't have to think about that one.
Why you
What
why
question is
you answer
that?
that like you answer that like that was just a stupid question to be
That
asking
was an obvious answer. Yes.
Okay, I'm sorry. My apologies. Usher is great. Chris Brown is great, but yes, I would pick Usher too, no doubt.
Hello.
If Vanessa was not doing, wasn't in journalism or
Mhm.
doing what she's currently doing right now, what career choice would she have pursued and why?
Mm. Well, when I was growing up, before I became a news buff, I
Mm,
wanted to be a veterinarian. So maybe I would have pursued that.
okay, you got a favorite animal?
I always loved dogs and still do.
Okay, I got you. I'm with you on that. I'm with you on that. What is some advice that someone has currently or before have gave you? Now we talked about you giving advice, but what is some advice somebody gave you that you hold on dearly to?
I think all the people who told me to be fearless. And that's why I talk so much about that and always tell people that. You know, I think when you look back on life, you probably are more disappointed in the things you didn't do
Hmm.
than the things that, you know, you don't want to have regrets. I think that's what I'm trying to say. When you look back, you don't want to have a life filled with, if only I had, I wish I would have, because a lot of those scenarios are, what's the worst thing that would happen? You failed. Okay, then what? Did anybody die because you failed? Probably not.
Right.
You probably learned a great lesson from it. So yeah, just don't be a scaredy cat.
I like that. Don't be a scaredy cat. That should be on somebody's tombstone for real. When they no question. I love it. I love it. Okay. I got a rapid fire now. So basically, we did this or that, but now this is rapid fire. So the first thing that comes to your mind, I want you to speak on it. Are you with me?
Oh, this ought to be good. Okay.
Absolutely. Let's do it. All right, here we go. Favorite color.
Purple.
Okay. Favorite movie. Sports movie. Sorry, sports movie.
Ooh. As much as I love sports, like I'm not really.
Now mine would be Remember the Titans. That's me.
That's what I was thinking. Yeah, I really, of all the favorite movies, that would probably be it.
Yep. A close second would be Field of Dreams. Field of Dreams. That's
Yeah, I
close
never
second.
saw Field of Dreams. So yeah, Remember the Titans.
Okay, we'll do that. Here we go. Favorite ice cream.
German chocolate cake.
Wow, I'll be totally transparent with you. I've never had that.
Yeah,
Never had German chocolate.
Yeah, that's a Baskin Robbins.
Mm.
From way back, from as a child, I loved it.
I know Baskin Robbins. We just don't have them here. We have more Cold Stone. Now it's Cold Stone now. So here we go. Okay. Favorite board game.
Monopoly.
You know, I'm a beast when I get that Park Place and Boardwalk. Ain't nobody touch me.
That's right.
Ain't nobody touch me on that one. Okay, here we go. Favorite card game.
Gin rummy.
Oh, that's a throwback.
I know.
That's a throwback. Okay. Yeah, my mother still busses me when I go back home and visit her. She still do. Okay, I'm with you on that. I'm with you on that. Okay. What is 3 albums that you can listen to without no skips?
Well, that would just be anything by Tina Turner, anything by Prince.
Okay.
And probably anything by Earth, Wind, and Fire.
Wow, you named the elements. Anytime you name the elements, can't go wrong with them. No question. Okay. 5 more of the rapid fire. Okay. Favorite sandwich that you like to eat?
Probably pulled pork barbecue.
Ooh, I love that. Okay, we're gonna be really good friends, Vanessa. I'm gonna tell you that right. Pulled pork, I like that. You got so many behind you. Favorite book you like to read?
I love books. I have loved books since I knew I was in this world. There's no way I can pick a favorite book. That's just impossible.
Give me maybe a top 4 or top 3 or 4 books that come to mind.
Yeah, I read a couple of books a week.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there's no way. That is one question that I can't say a favorite. I mean, you know, of course, people who are Christians love to read the Bible. But if we're talking about, you know, biographies and great fiction and all that, yeah, no way I can pick. That's impossible.
I would tell you, Mamba Mentality is one of my favorite books. I'm a person that I'm here. Like I said, I'm huge into sports, but I'm huge into biographies. I love learning about people's journeys and love reading about them. So Mamba Mentality. Kevin Garnett's book was really good too. Very explicit because he's explicit in the book, but it was still a good book. Okay. What is the sport that you know that you are absolutely terrible in? We heard you talk about bowling, but what is the sport that you're absolutely bad?
Tennis. Even though I like to play, I like to play, but that's it.
Got you. Okay.
That's not my gift.
Oh, okay. If there was 3 girlfriends that you could take on a vacation to anywhere you wanted to take to, which would those 3 girlfriends be?
Oh, my friend Angie in Florida, my friend Jacqueline, who's in Tennessee,
Hmm?
And that's the third one because I have some fun girlfriends. I think it would have to be a friend here in Alabama, Whitney.
I got you. Which position would you rather do? I know you was an anchor and a reporter, I believe, if both. Which position would you rather be, anchor or reporter?
I like the combination, and that is what I was able to do.
Okay,
Because I think if you're an anchor, you also need to be a good reporter. So it's not like you've left any of those skills behind. You're still reporting. You're
right.
just maybe not out there in the field every day. So yeah, it's a combination.
Okay, I can respect that. I respect that. What is something that you want to talk about that we haven't discussed here on the podcast? That you want to talk about either yourself or promote as we wrap up?
We have covered so much.
Hmm.
I, I just think I'm really into, retirement does not mean that you are doing nothing every day. And I think people have that in mind. So that's really my message. I mean, I've done a lot of stuff since retirement. You and I talked about this offline, which is I wrote this book that's called We're in Heaven, and I have some questions. So that might be on the bucket list to write another book. That's a big project, but that might be on the bucket list as well.
Absolutely, and I would love to get a copy of that book because I love to read. What was the inspiration behind that of writing that book? How long did it take for you to write that book?
I spent almost a year working on it, and it just came from conversations that I had with a friend of mine in Florida. Because whenever I would say something, she would always say, Vanessa, when we die and get to heaven, you think there's going to be like some kind of news conference and you're going to be able to like ask all these questions that you want answered. And so she and I would always talk about that. And so I thought somebody should write a book about that. And so I decided to do that. But it's the humorous questions that we would want answers to. There's not anything like really heavy in it, but it's just stories to get people thinking about the Bible and thinking about heaven and in a humorous kind of way.
Absolutely, absolutely. No, this has been a really, really fun conversation with you. Learning
Well,
about
thank
your
you.
story, learn about your history, learn about who you are, learn about how messy of a wing eater you are as well.
And how much
Learning
I like
about
college football, especially
right, how
Alabama
about you like
football.
college football too? So it's just been really, really cool to be able to talk to you. Like I said, I definitely will be coming out there to Alabama to at least watch a football game, see how the new regime is, because now that Nick Saban is
Hmm.
also into retirement, seeing how the new
Yes.
Alabama football team is in Tuscaloosa.
We
But
will still be rolling.
I know y'all will be, and I'm looking forward to another Alabama UGA SEC championship game. I'm looking forward to that for sure.
Mhm.
Um,
Yes.
as I say that, I want to thank you for hopping onto
Well,
my
thank you.
podcast.
Well,
And I
thank you
really
very much.
do. No problem. I really do appreciate you. And I really do appreciate your story. I really do appreciate your time. I hope you have a wonderful Tuesday evening. Like I said, we will definitely stay in touch. And I look forward to talking to you down the road.
Great. Thank you so much. And all the best to you in your career as well.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. You take care, Vanessa.
All right. You too.
Bye bye.